Hello everyone, this is Charles Sergöz and welcome to my new podcast, Journey to Scale. In this podcast, you can expect seeing some entrepreneurs, some business people and professionals scaled their careers or on the way to scaling their careers or their impact, their organizations. So you will see different range of careers and professional lives here. I also have a newsletter with the same name, Journey to Scale. So if you want to subscribe to the podcast and the newsletter, just go to journeytoscale.xyz, Journey to Scale XYZ, and subscribe. And I'm looking forward to your comments all the time. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to Journey to Scale podcast. This is Charles Sergöz and this is our second episode. In this episode, I have my old friend Yigit Konur, who is an SEO person. You know, he has lots of years of experience in SEO. He has co-founded an SEO agency, and also right now he is working on a SaaS product, software as a service product named Wope.com. Welcome, Yigit. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing well. I've just moved my country, so still trying to adapt to the culture and the new people. But thankfully, Portuguese people are very welcoming, and everything goes fine. Thank you for hosting me. Specifically, being host at one of your first episodes is an honor for me.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you are also one of my first guests on my Turkish podcast. So yeah, it's great to have you on this new podcast as well. So back in that time, we were talking about the ideas, flourishing about the SaaS product, but we were still on the agency. Right now, you are full focused on the product. So, but of course, before that, can you please talk a bit about yourself? Who's Yigit and what you have done so far and what you brought you there?
Of course, I will try to become this one as less as possible boring. So my career is just start with as a teenager. I was creating new websites and selling to the small businesses when I was 15. And I created my initial website and trying to gain some traffic at 2006. And then learned many things from the pioneers of our industry like Rand Fishkin, Brian Dean, and the many well-known ones. And then actually I have mimicked what they did in the US market, and specifically I created the first Turkish SEO blog of this age. After that, I get some consultancy offers at age of 17. I wasn't have even a bank account, and they were sending the money to my father. And then things just get faster, and then I start the university. And then the university has a spatial area which is called Technoparks at Turkey, which has some incentives for entrepreneurs. Is a bit somehow some sort of government supported incentives. So we started at the initial office, and then I end up with 17 people, but still counting time to the next lesson. And I believe that it is the best time to quit. And I just enter to the dropout league like many entrepreneurs. And then my first company is SEO, which is one of the first SEO agencies of our market. We start with a single person, and then Mehmet and Burak is also joined as a co-founder. And we just start to work Turkey-based projects. But right now we have 3 offices in Istanbul, Ankara, Turkey, and 1 in London. Maybe we can count the small house as a 4th office, but we don't prefer to list this yet. So we get many awards and get wins in our market. Specifically, right now, we are working with giants like Amazon, some of big companies, like maybe specifically the Turkish ones, but we have worked with Red Bull, GE, and many well-known brands. Most of them are just working with us for Turkey brands, but we are also scaling up to other countries too. And then things get changed. The agency business is a bit tough.
Yeah.
You learn lots of things from the clients. Thankfully, they are not only giving you the money, but also opportunity to learn what you can do for the large sites. Thankfully, by using this opportunity, I gained my technical SEO skills in a fast way, and then we started to build a new product. So we were actually I'm a person who spends at least half an hour every day at product hunt. I get lots of inspiration from many makers around the world, and then why not to use this experience to create our own product, and making something long years, which is a client-facing role as an
Yeah.
agency, is a bit tiring. But I'm just trying to use our experiences at Wope.com, and we were just working on this idea for maybe 2 to 3 years. It ended up with some fails. We learned from them, and we are building the version 2. Actually, it's just about being a non-technical co-founder, but maybe we can talk a little bit about this, not just like creating a software as a service product as an agency founder, but also as a non-technical person. It
Yeah.
is very tough journey.
Yeah, exactly. For example, I remember you were taking, some Python courses to, just get
Yeah,
get your hands dirty, especially with data analysis, because technical SEO requires lots of machine learning, big data
hmm
collection, indexing, all those things happening around the with the new updates, Google
yeah,
algorithm updates. So yeah, it's really a tough kind of
yeah,
industry for building SEO SaaS products. So and I also remember the Zio team has been publishing some small tools. It starts with those small tools, maybe both as a
yeah.
marketing.
It is the beginning of the journey. You're right.
Yeah, yeah, I remember those. You had some product hunt launches, a couple of them. Then you decide
hmm
move totally on SaaS.
Yeah,
And right now, when I check your LinkedIn profile, I see you define yourself as product manager. So not the CEO of the SaaS business. So how that happened. In those 3 years, I believe lots of things happened. So how did you
yeah.
decide to, okay, I will be the product manager?
To be honest, working as a CEO at some company, actually, if it is a big company, you have lots of highly qualified managers, and you are just trying to focus on strategy and doing high level stuff. But to be honest, in startup, it is not working like this. As a CEO, if you define yourself as a CEO of a 3 people company, you're still writing some sort of copywriting stuff, you are creating blog posts, you are designing the stuff, and I think that is not suits into the job definition of ordinary chief executive officer. That's why I have never become just a manager in my previous journeys too, because I feel like I think that it's not true, but I feel like just managing the people and focusing on the strategy feels like not a full-time job for me. I need to get
Mhm.
my hands dirty. It was same at the Zio side too, even though we have 60 people. And at this time, maybe I need to focus more on the management. But I was also consulting some of the clients and helping them to succeed for their search campaigns by using my technical know-how. But I'm proud of it because if I just become just a CEO in a written form of everywhere, it makes me less technical, and maybe it may affect my creativity when it comes to start a new software journey. And I think that I have two big advantages for starting this journey. The first one, working with great people at SEO. I'm really proud with the ownership of the people, because imagine that as a co-founder and the CEO of the company, you leave from the company to do something
Yeah.
different, and
Yeah.
it is not very sounds doable for most of the cases. That's why I think that
You also changed city. You moved to Ankara from Istanbul.
yeah, I have changed the city because of changing my focus is mandatory for this case. After than that, I my second chance is SEO is forcing you to become more technical. Actually, most of the technical SEO cases that we are facing with lots of Excel know-how, and that's why I just learn many things from here. So, as I have mentioned, SEO is forcing you to become more and more technical. And then I have learned many terminal tricks. How can I manage millions lines of data in an easier way without just getting into programming in a hard way? And then it makes me a little bit more technical than my other Alex. And then, thankfully, it also helps for the product journey, because if you are just a non-technical person, you cannot communicate with your CTO effectively, your software engineers. Even uh, being a PM requires some sort of technical skills. I know that there are lots of talented product managers that are doing great job coming from non-CS backgrounds, but I have spent many hours on Hacker News trying to understand new technologies, finding what is trending at GitHub, how we can implement this into our technology. Actively,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not writing code. Actually, I have some skills in JavaScript and Python to create some sort of mini tools in Retool to automate stuff at the agency side. Sometimes I'm just trying to new product ideas with them. But I think that trying to be technical without learning programming is also possible, especially
Mm.
if you just search for system architecture and trying to understand how systems are working, how the backend systems are scaling the load, those kind of stuffs. I think that does not require too many technical details, because they are working in a very logical manner. And so if you just use your logic and try to understand, and if you have great friends and helpers around you, understanding the technical concept is a little bit easier. So that's my story of starting the journey as a non-technical co-founder. But we have many failures and still learning from them.
Yeah, so I believe you also don't have any technical co-founder. So you are the founder who who are converting from non-technical to technical to make sure the engineers, developers are working on the right thing, and the product is moving in the right direction.
Yeah, that's right. And also, it ends up with some failures. So, when I was starting at the journey, I have a self esteem for learning the technical things so fast. And I believe that I can handle being a not CTO, but half CTO, maybe the quarter one, and hiring the great engineers and trying to build a product. Actually, it worked for to create the version one. Took too many time because we were a small team and it was such a
Yeah.
big product. Maybe I can just talk a little bit more about the challenge I faced with the first version is just making really close connections with the developers and trying to create a culture to build something, but it was a very small team and we made many mistakes. The first one is creating the tech debt. The initial version was not having any QA or any unit tests. It's just a code written to be fast, and we just focusing on building the feature as fast as possible. But this tech debt end up with rewriting the whole code base again. At this time,
Yeah.
I met with Iran, my friend. He's just working as a CTO for our company right now. And also, it feels so safe when you have a partner that you can support you in a technical way and not dealing directly with those technical stuff. Feels great, but I'm still using my version 1 failure know-how for the new version, and we will most probably publish the version at November. Maybe we can just talk a little bit about the product after that.
Yeah, definitely. What for maybe we can start from the beginning. When you moved to Ankara, what was your initial thought about the product? What
Mhm.
user problem you were trying to solve, and right now where you evolved that product to?
Yeah, it's a very funny story. Actually, it wasn't my vision. Someone just sent me an email about the automations he implemented for search engine optimization. It is mostly keyword clustering and making a large form of analysis in an easier way. And I meet with this guy and then discuss a little bit about his technical skills and ask how we can collaborate together on it. And we decided to just move to Ankara to find the best engineers. At the moment, the pre-COVID world, it wasn't
Yeah.
very popular to work remote. And also at this time, I was just thinking in an ordinary way. Actually, we have tried remote at SEO nearly 6 to 7 years ago, but we couldn't manage to do it. But right now, both companies are fully remote. Maybe we have
Mhm.
to do it. And
Yeah.
then we just start to work with the initial guy who sent the email to this case. We just hired the initial engineers and he had to leave to other city. But we have just started with him and hired the initial engineers and then start to work. Actually, the first idea is just trying to automate SEO process as much as we can do, and we were just building, as you mentioned, many small tools, and then those mini tools are helping us to fix some problems that maybe saves 30 minutes to 1 hour time to us. But
Mhm.
we have created a very large checklist that contains more than 300 items about whole search engine optimization process, and then trying to automate them one by one.
Wow.
But at this time, we understand that to fix all those problems, you just need human, because in some cases we need to use some tools, getting the data from them, and the APIs are not well supported for most of the modules. For example, Ahrefs is a great tool, but their search related stuff is not just open as an API. So that's
Yeah.
why we think that we need to build our own data infrastructure, and the initial product should be a rank tracker. The SEO rank tracker is just offering you some keywords to track, and then you can just get the daily or weekly or monthly rank refreshes for all those keywords and
Mhm.
try to understand what's going on with this campaign. So you can just compare the performance of the competitors, and you can just group those keywords in different tags or keyword groups, and then
Mhm.
understand the big picture of performance and how it goes on. The problem is that the crawling the Google, getting the data, working with data partners, it was a very hardcore challenge
Yeah.
for me actually, and I learned lots of technical concepts by just dealing with most of those things. But I think that from just looking from today to behind, I made many mistakes because focusing on a high amount of engineering is just crazy as a non-technical founder like me. Maybe we can just work with the APIs and the providers that collecting the data from the Google. But I was just thinking like if we couldn't scale the data collection, we cannot just give the correct advices to the people. That's why we
Yeah.
spend lots of engineering hours on it, and then it takes many time, and we make mistakes, like I mentioned. But finally, at the end of November, maybe we will make the product publicly launched, and the tiring part of the journey will over. And finally, I can focus what I'm doing best, like marketing, and then selling the product to the ones who needs to track their performance. But we have a long vision to go and many things to implement.
So you started with that, and right now, you are close to launching your latest version. So in that version, what will be what will be your main selling point with that product?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have a long vision, but as I mentioned, we have started with a rank tracker. So I was using many different rank trackers, including the Ahrefs, SEMrush's own modules, specific products like GetStat, SEO Monitor, and many other competitors. And I
Mhm.
have gained lots of experience on them, and also I send lots of feature requests to them because I want to make different types of analysis, but those tools are just giving you the pre-created reports. That's why just getting the raw data and playing with a little bit of this data, and then creating a different inferences from the this data was always exciting for me. That's the reason why I start to create the initial rank tracker. But in the previous podcast, I mentioned that I'm terrible at building an MVP product because I believe that the world is getting so competitive, and that's the reason. If you are just entering into the mature market, I think that starting with an MVP might not be the great option. Actually, to keep the motivation, if you just build a very simple thing, I believe that you cannot keep up with the motivation because the customers will not give you the wow effect to you. And getting these interactions is just feeding the spirit of the founder and spirit of the product manager. That's why we just try to create at least 2x to 3x more efficient in many ways. That's why I'm a founder for product-led growth. Of course, we build very interesting products, and the customers that planning to use the initial version of our product will understand what's going on in the market, which tech types they are losing, which, for example, just taking an e-commerce as an assumption. You have an e-commerce website, you can see which categories are dropping their performance, which ones are increasing, what are your competitors, niche competitors in specific keyword groups. So there are lots of insights that you can gain from Wope, and
Yeah.
then it will help you to define your SEO strategy in a better way. But what we are doing is not just about the features, but most of the people are just spending hours in rank trackers to create initial campaign setup. What we are doing
Mhm.
right now is just making the hours longing process into seconds by just offering the best keywords that you need to follow closely by using the AI. And to be honest, we are really using AI, and I will explain the details because most of the startups are just using this as a hype word, but I have a responsibility to explain this a little bit more. For example, you are just tracking 100,000 keywords. So we are just creating hundreds of groups according to the context of each keyword. For example, if you just saying me dress, I can just tag this instead top of fashion category, which is the child element of woman. The parent is fashion and the child is the woman. because the dress is just belongs into this tag. For example, I have spent hundreds of hours for making this as a consultant at the previous years, but thankfully, just trying to understand the latest advancements of the technology and applying this into our product helps us to optimize the onboarding process, which may end up with a situation where we can sell the product faster because the initial onboarding duration, if it's so high, so long, it means that the sales process is getting longer, and I can just create an outreach campaign by populating those websites' data and then contact with them directly without asking them to spend hours. Because, at this century, asking for someone's hours is the most expensive request that you can.
It makes that sense. So, for example, time to value, in a product is very important. So will you will do something like make the value ready and go to the potential users with that value in your outreach campaigns. Yeah, that be pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that the potential buyer think like this. So we have a huge backlog. We want to create the best product in this industry by focusing the initial product at first. But I'm also following closely what happens in the AI world. In addition to the clustering those keywords, we are building many different modules to generate amazing content briefs, using those briefs to generate AI created content. This sounds like a bad idea for most of the search engine optimization specialists, but when you just dive into the AI and try to understand how it works, especially anyone can do this with GPT-3's playground. Just ask a question, give an example, and ask another question, and then
Yeah.
GPT-3 will just use the initial prompt, your example, and continue to produce the similar examples. So it's just some sort of new industry revolution for B2B apps, because there are lots of manual works is just doing by the human, and those people can just focus on the areas where they can show their creativity in a better way. In the long vision, we will try to automate at least 80% of ordinary SEO tasks and trying to compete with SEO consultants to identify the problems. But actually, we are not trying to kill the SEO consultancy world. Actually, it's not something doable because it's not
Yeah.
just delivering the task to the client. There are many different dynamics. Maybe we can just be the best assistant, the best friend of SEO consultants first, and then maybe helping the small brands, startups, SMBs, maybe the support of few hours of SEO consultant effort instead of putting tens of consultancy effort. In the long run, maybe we can just manage the consultancy on top of our platform.
Yeah, that makes sense. At the end, consultants using all those tools, they are not denying it, just doing everything manually. For example, if you have Ahrefs or, Screaming Frog, SEO Spider, you wouldn't do clicking on links on your by yourself. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
It's how
that's right.
so, I wish you best of luck with this new version,
Thank you.
and I hope it will be a great success. But in these 3 years, I want to ask, what was the most challenging part of building an SEO SaaS product, and also, what was the most exciting part of it?
That's a great question. So I think the most challenging part, actually, the when you just take a look into SEO software as a service solution, you will see the countries like Russia, Ukraine. Most of them are just part of Eastern Europe, and I think that there is a reason behind of it. I only know the search metrics from Germany and the most from the US, but those companies are not successful like SEM Rush or Ahrefs. I think that it is some sort of a challenge that needs high engineering efforts to fix the problem that sounds like not fixable. Like collecting data from search engines is a real challenge because search engines don't want you to share their data because as we have even experienced that Turkey, some of the people are just crawling the search engines, shuffling the results, and then saying that we have created our own search engine. That's why Google is just trying to protect its own intellectual property. That's why they are mostly denying the crawlers. And I believe that Google doesn't have any problem with rank trackers because we are helping the other SEO softwares maybe. We are helping the world to become better place, the web world maybe. We are not saving the lives, but people are just using those tools to understand the persona of their customer base, what they are searching for, how we can help them in a better way. So that's the reason why Google is not suing all those software makers because we are just complementary tools for Search Console because Search Console is not
Yeah.
directly fixing all the problems of webmasters. The thing is that this high amount of engineering work at my first software product was a real challenge, but thankfully I have meet with great engineers at the first time, so they helped me to overcome with these issues. For example, the Metehan helped me a lot. The initial Google crawling problem, and then
Mm.
we tried many different waves and end up with multi-tenant crawler that can collect the data from many different sources, and making this scalable is a real challenge, I think. And also we
Yeah.
have a huge data pipeline. We need to collect the data from different areas and merge them in the single database, and then making this database in a working in a fast way, and also making this by spending less is a real challenge too. And
Yeah.
we need to pick the best technologies, trying to understand them, make lots of POCs to choose the ones that fits best into your case. Actually, was a real challenge. Actually, the most of them are just the technical ones. So the
Yeah.
biggest win is, of course, working with something that you can play. It was just starting the in your mind and your team's mind, and then at the end of the day, you can just use this product as a working product, and this is so interesting feeling. So you can do whatever you want by using this tool. It was just maybe working for few cases at first, but then improving this and seeing how it changes is
Yeah.
really motivating.
Yeah, definitely. And also, it be something like you have been involved in this for more than, I believe, something like 15 years, 16 years. You are in SEO world, and finally you are building a product. You will also be able
Yeah,
to.
you are totally right because we are not just doing consultancy by using our own brains. We do all those tools, the Ahrefs, SEMrush, Moz, Search Metrics. Those were the heroes of us because we were selling our consultancy services, but
Yeah,
by just using those tools and then merging with our experiences and thinking that your ideas, your team's ideas, just creates a software that can reach to millions of people, and the problems you fixed for your single case, if it's just a fix for generic fix, valid for most of the websites, and the millions of people can get benefit from this. In the
yeah,
consultancy
definitely.
world, it wasn't like this. In Zio and Wope, in total, it's 85 people company. At the Zio, we have nearly 120 clients right now. We have great consultants, but our impact is just valid for these 120 clients. But doing something more impactful, working with different clients, and then also touching into their life, helping their business to grow. I think it's a great feeling. I couldn't just get this totally as the product is not large yet, but I can estimate what kind of impact it can create at the market.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think you should be pretty excited, especially since you are very close to putting it on the
Launch
market
date.
and start
Yeah.
uh, start acquiring customers. Yeah, definitely. So, as you said, generally, marketing products, marketing tech products, this industry is very mature, and there is lots of products. There is a very high competition. You start with a pretty, uh, pretty demanding, pretty high tech side of it. Rank tracker, and also you have been also in more simple ones, like even it started from Google Sheets, spreadsheets. I know that. So eventually it evolved into some real product with huge databases, data warehouses, and
Yeah.
crawlers, all those. So, and also adding AI on top of that data. So let's say I'm an aspiring SEO SaaS founder. I want to build an SEO product. For example, one of the things I was thinking about, building a simple page speed tracker. I was just want to add 200 all my websites links, and then I want to track their page speed, or right now core web vitals, and I want to make sure I can track their progress. Let's say I'm this guy, and what would you suggest me to do? What would be your advice to me as an aspiring founder?
Of course. I think I have a good idea in here because the technology is just getting changed. We have new opportunities by using the no-code tools. My first advice is not just getting into data collection stuff. Instead of this, there are great solutions like Data for SEO, and also we are building a new product which is called Pixel SERP, which is a data collection API for SEO software makers, which is relatively more affordable. And I think that in feature wise, we have some sort of serious competitors, and Data for SEO is doing great job. But we are trying to just start with a pricing wise advantage, and also our collected data is parsed in a great way. We are just collecting all the Google search features. Are the main difference is just like this. Nearly we are parsing 200 search features. I'm pretty sure that most of the people even haven't heard those search features yet. And then giving you very detailed JSON, and maybe working with Pixel Serp or Data for SEO like companies might be a great start instead of just dealing with data collection. Also, parsing is a real challenge. On top of it, there are great no-code tools. The first one I can recommend is Retool, which is a big company right now. They raised more than $200 million, I think, if I'm not wrong. So I was not having any coding experiences. I never worked as a software engineer before, but I'm just using our APIs and building small tools to make POC in the agency and asking for
Yeah,
people to feedback. And also, it's not something that I can do with my own without those technologies. I can't just code that much qualified HTML, CSS. I can create those front end components. I can send those requests and manipulate the JSON files. But Retool and the many other alternatives, they have open source alternatives too. You can just search for it. Is a great
yeah,
start, and you can even connect Stripe into Retool. Just don't think like an MVP. One of my friends, Emre, said that to me. Some of the startups in the US just creating their initial MVP by using Retool, which is amazing. And if you need to have some sort of complex workflow, there is a great solution which is very similar to Zapier, which is called N8N.io. N8N is a great solution for building the workflows. You don't need to be code. You don't need to be a coder to use it. Maybe you can create some sort of complex API at N8N, and connect them to the Retool and connect the Retool to Stripe, and then send the tweets, make your promotions, and try your initial idea whether it works or not. I'm not an MVP person, but I think that right now the world has lots of great opportunities by using pre-created AI modules. You can build your own product with subscription module in just a single week. And also, one of our VPs, Ozan, and he started a new challenge: 100 days of no code. I have just saw last day. It's just similar with the predecessors, 100 days of code. They are telling you how to use no code tools, and I think that it's a great start. And maybe 3 to 4 years, 5 years later, maybe the founders don't need to write code to build a simple product, or maybe the medium product, not the big ones, but we can maybe even do something similar with Wope by connecting the third-party APIs without any help of developers on top of no-code tools. I think it's a great opportunity.
That would be a good start. At least collecting feedback, if understanding if there's a demand for
Yeah.
the product idea. Yeah, and also there are in the SEO world, lots of people, especially professionals, are used to using different kind of tools. So, for example, I was doing SEO from time to time in my career, and I remember using lots of tools. I just search for the problem I want to solve, and just find something, and do my thing there, and get back to my works. I think that could be possible to build a website and maybe make a little part of the process work, and that might be the start.
Yeah, if it just give you an inspiration, I have just sent you through the email my initial tool, which is not published yet, but it generates content brief from the given keywords. And I built this in a single night, and it was just like a magic. And I couldn't sleep enough at this night because I feel like, okay, I have a small product idea, and at the end of the night, and as a someone who is using Retool for first time, and I can just use it. And also great tools like Altogic from Turkey. They are building the serverless backend solution, drag and drop visual stuff. It may be useful. Just having a little bit JavaScript know-how, it is just equivalent of watching 4 hours of free code camp videos. You can just manipulate JSON, get the data, and after that, you can do whatever you want. Small data products on top of Retool, which is a great idea. Let's keep in touch about this, and if I can do anything, if you mind to do something, I will be happy to help, Chara.
Thank you very much. And I think that those tools would be a great start. So I will add the links. I will ask for you to a comprehensive list of links for those products, and I will add those to the episode notes. Yeah, thank you very much. And also, I want to ask before going to the last section, which is the lightning round questions to better get to know you. My last question is there anything I didn't ask you, but you want to talk about?
I think that if you want to create your own product, just start the day by visiting Product Hunt. I'm always just visiting at least 5 products and registering, trying to use, trying to understand what kind of problems they are trying to fix. And it helps you to understand what kind of new technologies that helps people to create new products. And also spending some time at indie hackers might be great. So those are the oldest in my mind. So just spend more time at Product Hunt. It will enlarge your vision a lot. I believe that.
Yeah. I think Product Hunt is a great source of inspiration, and also looking what people are currently working on.
Yeah.
All right, now let's move to the lightning round. I will ask you some short questions, and I want you to tell the first thing comes to your mind. So first one is what's something that you carry in your pocket besides your phone all the time?
Nice. I think AirPods.
You are using AirPods?
Yeah, using every day. And at the table, I'm using AirPods Max, but when you just go around, I'm using different phone, small one.
Yeah, that's interesting. So second one is artificial intelligence fills you with hope or dread. Pick one.
Of course, Hope.
Yeah, you are working with AI eventually. Yeah, and your favorite place to think big.
It's a bit weird, but Turkish hammam. I'm also, when I just need to get into depression and trying to fix the problem, I need some steams. Steams helps me to make things slower, and then it becomes so beneficial for me.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, what job would you take? If you're out of work tomorrow.
I will become a rapper most probably because I'm a very active rap hip hop listener, and I love to make freestyle rap, and I think that I'm good on it. Some of the great MCs give some praises. That's why maybe I can say it. Maybe I can do a freestyle rapper.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I think I should listen
Yeah,
one of your side rap.
yeah. I don't have enough self-esteem to publish them publicly, but I have this kind of skills.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. The one thing you wish your phone could do.
I hope that my maybe not the phone, but my iPad, if it runs the macOS, that will be great. It's technically possible, but Apple is not just doing this financial reasons. I think that will be
Mhm.
great to work on top of iPad by using the powerful macOS software. But my phone, I hope that there should be a better dictation engines like OpenAI's Whisper is just amazing. I have tried Turkish, English, run on my own computer. It works like crazy. I think that human computer interactions could be better. I hope that Google and Apple implements those new speech to text modules into phones. And if it's possible, I believe that our productivity will gain a lot.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Even using this, WhatsApp's speech to text tool, on or your Apple's, I
Yeah,
think that's even game changer. And yeah, having
yeah,
having doing lots of other stuff. Yeah, I think that
yeah.
just great. One object from your childhood that you could never throw away.
It's kind of trauma.
No, it's kind of an object. It can be a toy. I don't know anything.
Uh-huh. Actually, my computer. I'm so lucky to have a father that buys me the computer when I was 7 years old. And
Wow.
at this time, it's just 1996, 1997. He was a bit tech geek, but after then, I become better than him. He's not that much. The computer is my main toy. I never play with Atari or other stuff. I was always trying to do something at MS-DOS, at the computer. It's actually not the toy, it's my life, but it was a toy when I was a child.
Yeah, that's nice. What is your mobile app? Favorite mobile app?
Actually, right now I'm spending more time at Lucid, which is a great app. Which helps. It's just like a Blinkist, but the visual way.
Mhm.
You can just read the popular new idea books like even the Homo sapiens are just visualized in here. They are
Yeah,
just summarizing the books, but it's just like a dynamic infographic with Blinkist summary function. It's a great app. I love it.
yeah, yeah. I remember that there was also some kind of a mobile app, but it didn't go
Yeah,
very.
yeah. Yeah. There was some similar competitor. I remember this, but not the
Yeah.
name. And the second one is Reddit, actually. I'm just following lots of subreddits and gaining many information around everything.
The book that most influenced you.
I think it's a bit cliche, but Seven Habits of Highly Effective People of Stephen Covey changed lots of things, and getting the proactiveness idea from this book changed lots of things in my mind when it comes to react to problematic situations, and also Marcus Aurelius meditations.
Mhm.
And also it's a very life-changing uh, book for me specifically, and I'm still reading this like a Bible every day to gain new insights from Aurelius.
Yeah, that's impressive. Messy desk or clean desk?
Of course, messy desk. You shouldn't just see the house. I just came from Turkey to Portugal, and everything is everywhere.
Yeah, I have an order in messiness. For example, sometimes our cleaning lady cleans it, and make things in order. And for me, it's an out of order.
Yeah. I respect that because my wife is just like this, but I couldn't change this behavior.
Yeah, definitely. One thing you have to have in your fridge all the time.
IKEA meatballs in the Portugal because I love Turkish food, and the Portuguese food is just mostly seafoods, and I
Yes,
don't really like seafood, so that's why I'm always cooking IKEA food for myself, and then trying to make a keto diet for maybe the 12th time. I hope that this time it won't fail.
I think you will eventually start to like seafood because yeah, Portuguese, yeah, everywhere is seafood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the best of advice you got, and who gave it to you?
Wow, I learned lots of things from Sidar Şahin from Big Games. He helped me a lot when we have any struggle. He were just making mentorship for many cases to me, and I learned many things. I cannot just name the initial one, but what I learned from Sidar Abi, which is doing the best for hiring the best talent for the teams. Luckily, he has worked with many well-founded startup and also make billion-dollar exits. I think the first unicorn of Turkey,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
also he was doing a great job for hiring the best talent. So that's the thing that I observe from his success.
yes. Darshine is yeah, one of the most famous Turkish startup founders.
Yeah. No
Yeah,
bullshitting, just a real story. He's not a PR guy, but his
yeah,
success is just nearly some of all the popular entrepreneurs of our region. Is not just equivalent to the company's total worth he created.
exactly. The single embarrassment of your career.
That's about you. I have mentioned this before. We were visiting you at the Nokta when you were working for this, and I explained something to you, but it's in a very wrong way, and you know this tool better than me, and you in a very kind way you correct me, and then I learned from this. It's kind of an embarrassment, but the biggest one might be in my early days, in my 20, starting of the 20s. I was following and unfollowing people to gain some followers, which is so
Mhm.
cringy when I'm just looking from the today's mindset. And some sort of few people lynched me on the Twitter publicly for doing this not a good behavior. They are totally right. Maybe you can just do this personally, but it was a very embracing day for me. And finally, I have shared this, and I feel lighter.
I think that's not that big of a problem, I guess, because there was even those tools. They were
Yeah,
you were
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
follow this person if she doesn't follow you, unfollow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's 2008, and it is the something that people called like social media management. So that's why I was just find one of the tools and then trying to gain some attention as a young person.
yeah. What about the single greatest achievement?
Wow, having a great team at the ZEO that supports me while we are trying to build something at Wope. Tuğçe is taking care of the company as CEO. She's doing great job. We can hire 22 engineers with the profit of ZEO, which is amazing thing. And Ozan, Ezgi,
I need to get in here. So as an agency, you have 22 engineers.
yeah, yeah. No, no, no. At the Woop site, we have 20 engineers, but those engineers are funded by the profit of CEO.
I see.
That's the reason making the company that much financially stable in such an economical situation like Turkey is a very big win. I'm proud with whole ZEO team, and maybe creating the culture where people can show a real ownership is not something that I see every day. That's why I am proud of it. And also at the Woop, we are working with very young engineers. It is just like Ajax of Netherlands in the football world. We have lots of young, talented engineers that helps us to start this journey with a limited budget. Thankfully, their great effort. We are building a world-class product.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. One meeting you look forward to each month.
Actually, I don't looking forward to. I never look forward to any meeting because I meeting with lots of people. I hope to have less, but the internet pioneers like Sidarabi, I hope that finding with meeting regularly with this kind of high vision people enlight my way a lot, and I hope to meet with the successful founders more and asking my question to get their previous failures or the wins based experiences. That will be perfect, but everyone is busy.
Yeah, definitely. The most greater measure of success you have ever set for a team.
In ZEO, we have quarterly camps where we just went to mountain houses and worked together with the whole team. At this period of time, we changed lots of systems. We have tried holocracy, we have tried agile management, we have tried our own ways, and also we iterate a lot at the limited time and changing the whole company structure by the help of the people of ZEO was a huge achievement for a limited amount of time, I think.
Yeah, every quarter. Yeah, that's pretty frequent.
Yeah, yeah. Right now we are just doing maybe two per year after the COVID, but we are still trying to keep up with the same tempo.
Your favorite time-saving hack? I really wonder what is that.
That's my keyboard. I'm not using trackpad. I'm using mouse from IJKL by pressing caps lock and changing the apps by pressing tab and Notion, pressing tab as Safari. I have mapped every single key and not using mouse, which is a great thing. Ultimate Hacker keyboard is the best keyboard I have ever bought. And in addition to this, some apps like Shortcut helps you to use the computer without mouse. Better Touch tool is making my life a lot easier, thankfully for macros and those keyboard shortcut based hacks, and also Raycast. But it's a just a single episode of podcast subject for me because I love to spend my hours for increasing my productivity. That's why I love those tools. And planning to maybe starting a podcast or a YouTube channel about this because my friends are just forcing me
Yeah,
to
you should.
teach the new hacks.
Yeah, I would be one of the first subscribers as well. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. I hope
Yeah.
so.
And lastly, best movie ever.
I'm not the person that watch lots of movies and TV series. Maybe it sounds a little bit nerdy, but I feel a bit guilty when I watch too many TV series. In the Breaking Bad time of me, I was just coming from the home and then watching the 6 episodes in a single day. I'm a little bit obsessive with what I do. That's why watching the TV series or movie is not something that I couldn't get the stuff from my obsessions, the negative part of my me. And but the pursuit of happiness, it's a little bit cliche, but
Yeah.
I love the story and it's a real story. The people is just criticizing the hustle mindset right now, and I totally disagree with this approach because I think that it's also reflects young people's career in a bad way. At the first years of the career, we need to put lots of things in the table, especially if we are not born in US or any advantageous environments or the big economy countries. So it is not something that we can do. The life is not that much easy, specifically in Turkey. I grown up in Turkey, just right now living in Portugal, but still trying to do lots of things, still trying to hustle. I can even leave the profit of SEO or doing lots of things, but still trying to do different things to get new adventures, to have better life in long run. So this kind of inspirational movie is always stealing my heart, and I'm not also at this type of work-life balance person.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much, Pete. No, it was a pleasure to talk to you and lots of insights. And looking forward to your new product launch. And I'm looking forward to all the links you talked about. You talked about lots of things.
I hope so. Thank you, Char, for inviting me to your podcast, and I hope that the listeners will get some benefits. If you have any question, my DMs are open. Just send me whatever you want through the Twitter. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the show, follow Journey to Scale podcast in your favorite podcast app.